Mrs. Knight again. Not me. Yeah, Dorothy. Bless her.
I'm going to sign in. Oh, Chris is here now. Hold on.
Good afternoon, Christopher.
Apologies, it's been with moving my 92-year-old mother, so...
These things happen. Where are you recording from? Starship Enterprise?
Yes, you're correct.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Fabulous. Right, so I think we're all here, aren't we?
I thought you were in your front room there, Chris. Your mother's front room. I forgot you were moving your mother. Is it going well?
Very well. It's just about done now.
Good.
Smashing. Right, okay. Welcome to the March edition of the Amenities Committee of Chapel Parish Council. The usual crew, the infamous five. We have the assistant clerk, the parky, and my bestie, Dorothy. We'll start with the agenda today. Number one, public speaking. I'm guessing, unless Dorothy's got something to say, Emma, that's a nothing.
No, nobody's told me.
No. Anybody? No? Okay,
No.
Fabulous. Number two, apologies for absence. There is none. Number three, the report from the chairman and the assistant clerk. On this, please, Emma, I'd like you to take the floor and just run us through the bits and pieces that you've been doing, please.
Okay, I'll start quickly with the planter locations that I applied for with Derbyshire County Council. I applied for those on the 10th of February, and they emailed me yesterday to say that they've given me the wrong form and I've got to fill a different form out. So I will fill different forms out at some point next week. So we're no further with them, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Right, the picnic tables. So after last time, I've had another look at accessible ones, not just wheelchair accessible benches. So basically, to get the accessible ones that you could maybe get a wheelchair on as well, there is obviously a couple of different companies that do them. Now, there is a company at the minute that is doing them, and kind of the more you buy, the cheaper they are. So say if you were going to get 3, you could get them for maybe £544. Because everybody else after that, you're looking at about £780 for them. But what they are is they are obviously, you don't have to lift your legs over to get in them. You can simply just sit down and kind of move your legs around. There is a couple that you can still get a wheelchair under as well. So, and the one that is, like I said, you know, if you order 3, you can do that with them. The other ones then, that leaves you with just the wheelchair accessible ones. But again, you would have to then kind of get your leg over them. And then obviously there's the standard picnic benches, which, you know, they can range from £330 each, really. So I suppose it's just decide on which ones you want and how many of each you want.
Emma, before we crack on, I've got a question from Stella, please, and then I have a question myself.
I just want to know, are these wooden ones or the recyclable ones that don't need made out of recyclable materials?
Yeah, all the ones I've found are 100% recycled, so they've not got any metal bits on or wood or anything, because I think if we're getting them, really, what's the point in getting ones that you're going to have to
treat? Yeah.
So these, the ones that I've printed off are all 100% recycled plastic.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Stella. Any more questions before I ask Emma a question briefly?
No.
Shoot.
No, I was just going to ask, whichever way we go with this, are we able to screw a plaque or a number on them or something so that the park keeper, you know, Phil, will be able to have a list of where they actually are and what number they are? Then if any get broken, anybody has any problems, they can just say table or bench number such and such. Are we all right to screw something to them? You know what I mean? That's or glue something on. I just wanted to ask the question.
They've just asked Phil, and they're just plastic, aren't they? So there shouldn't be any issues with putting something discreet on them, no.
Emma, we've got one more from Chris.
I just thought, you know, a good idea to see the quotes and the spec, and maybe so that we can all compare them and sort of, you know, so we can sort of see, you know.
Yeah, I take your point there, Chris. Actually, if I'm honest with you now, what I was going to ask you, Em, is could you pop us a link onto some of the websites from these particular companies, just so that we can have a quick look. Because ideally, what we really need to be doing is making a decision fairly quickly now, because we're heading into the better weather, and I don't really want to drag this on into the year. We really need to get something down to show people that we mean business. So I'm conscious that this is dragging on. Can you manage to get us some details to each website, please, Em?
I'll email you the. There's quite a few, but I'll email and try and put them in different categories for you.
Appreciate
take straight to the ones, because obviously there's a lot of benches on each page.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm sorry.
Right, I'm just saying, how long does it actually take to get them if you order them? Is
a couple of these companies online, I think they're literally delivered free within a few days as well.
Right,
so,
that's okay, because
yeah,
some take weeks, don't they? Just checking on that.
Okay, so what I'm suggesting here then is that, so we're on the 20, we're not likely to be able to make a decision before the full council, are we? Could we manage?
I mean, I can email these out, but I don't know. I mean, you could possibly make your decision and then revisit a full council and just ratify it. I don't know.
Yeah, what I'm thinking here is, if we get some links out, Nigel, Chris, Stella, Stuart, you get on it, have a look, see what your preferences are. Why don't we take this to the full council and make a decision there, rather than waiting for the next communities council? Anybody got any issues?
That would make sense, because we're a week and a little bit away from the full council meeting. Gives us time to do that, and we could vote on it at the full council, and it would be quorate. It would qualify. Yeah.
Okay, Nigel, I'm seeing you.
Sorry, am I muted? No. So I was just going to ask Stuart whether the agenda's set in stone now, or whether we can add to it.
No, we Sue and I are sorting that out on Monday to send it out to you, because Sue was on holiday yesterday, so and things caught up with everybody with things, so we're all right.
So we need to have a look at these links and then come to a decision by Monday to get it onto the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, we just put an agenda item on Monday.
Listen, if that's the case, then I'm going to ask us to just hang fire then, because I think we need to with a decision like this, I don't want us to rush it and get the wrong decision. I'd like so we need you to look at the links, and we need to agree between us offline which is the preferred option, and we'll bring it back to the next amenities committee meeting, and then we'll authorise it then. I think
we have another meeting on the 13th of April.
Pardon?
We have another meeting on the 13th of April.
Do we? Fabulous.
So, I mean, it's only a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we should do then. I think, let's try and do that. Sorry, Stella.
Right, Jay, I was just going to say what Nigel was saying. We don't have to have it in by Monday, the decision. If we get the links, that's when the agenda. So if you just put on the agenda that we're discussing it, we can actually discuss it at the full council, can't we?
That's a good point. Yeah, smashing. Okay, that's the action then, please. Then if we get the links out, and then
I'll make sure that there's an agenda item for it on the agenda on Monday when I do it with Sue, and then we can talk about it. And it gives you just over 10 days to look at everything and make your choice.
Yeah, and make a decision. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, back to you, mate.
The final one with benches is the wooden normal benches, that have the crests on.
Yeah.
So we've had the cost, and the Ender are going to charge us just £50, a one-off pattern charge.
Right.
Per order. So if you're obviously having 3 benches, then it's going to be 150.
Is that per bench or per order?
It says per order, which I think if you order all the benches, then it's only the pattern charge, so you should just pay £50, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like a printer, isn't it? Like if you're at stationers. So the benches are, the more you order, obviously, again, the cheaper they are. So individually, they're 1,030. If you have, say, 3, it goes down to 945. So it just depends how many benches we think we need. I did do that plan of where you wanted them. So I could check to see how many we actually do need, or we thought we needed.
Yeah, fabulous. Stella?
Didn't we discuss that the two in the play area, we're going to take them out and put them around the park and put different ones in the play area to cut the cost down? Because they're quite expensive, aren't they? So we don't have to have the crest on the ones in the park, in the play area, do we?
No, I've been looking into the ones at their play area, and they're just causing me no end of grief. I wanted them to match the little black one that's in there, which came from a certain company. A certain company are just being difficult. But yeah, there is two in there that can come out.
Yeah.
But are we missing any logos on the others? Is there any that are kind of missing? We need them.
There is some without logos, because when I went round and I was talking to Phil, I noticed there's some without logos. I can't see the point of having the logos on in the play area. Well, I can't see the point of having the logo on anywhere unless they're out of the park. But that's only my opinion.
Anybody else, Stuart?
Can I just sort of clarify a little bit here, if I may, with you, Jason, on the respect of, we were trying to make a decision whether we were actually going to have the plastic benches to match the picnic tables as such, rather than the cast, so it to be cheaper. Do we actually need the cast benches at £1,000 a piece? And as Stella says, do we actually need the logos on them or not? Yes, we did say about bringing the two cast benches out of the play area, but I must admit, from my point of view, and I've been in with the grandkids a few times recently, I actually think we need more benches in the play area, because by the time you've got your kids sat at the side of you and you're putting shoes on or sorting them out to finish leaving the play area, you fill a bench up. One family fills a bench up very easily. So, you know, we've got 6 pieces of equipment in there. I think there should be sort of 6 benches in there in my own mind, even if we bring those 2 out. But I do admit with what Stella said, we don't particularly need logos on them in there. I think if we were to possibly, I don't know if like the picnic tables that we're talking about that are made from, because they're heavy enough with recycled stuff, whether we could actually get 6 benches that all match the picnic tables or something like that. I'm just asking the question while we're doing, because I know we were looking at roughly that we were going to be thinking of ordering 6 benches so that Phil could actually have a rotation of them anyway, you know, as they come in for repair and go out again. So I don't know. I just wanted to make that point. That was all while we're discussing it.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point, Stuart. I think what I'd try to remind us all is that any decisions regarding extra benches in that play area at this moment in time probably don't need to be made, given that we're not quite sure what that area might look like after negotiations and potential improvements. So it's certainly a valid point, Stuart, but I think I'd probably try and hang fire. But like Stella said, we don't want the cast iron ones in there and putting a cheaper one in the park. We should have the cast iron ones out in the park.
Yeah.
But I think you know, at the moment, Emma seems to be on that. Has anybody else got anything they want to add to that? Chris, Stuart, Nigel, Stella? Okay, Emma, you seem to have that under control. So next one, please, mate.
Right, okay. The bicycle racks. Let me flick through. I've had an email back off Lindsay Weston about them. Just trying to find it. And basically, it's all a little bit, it's obviously gone a little bit sideways, and nobody really knows what's going on with them anymore, whether they're still getting them or not. So I've asked Lindsay to take a look for us, really, and have a look at it and see what's going on.
Before Chris just comes in, haven't we got some of our own that we were looking to?
We have got two. Yeah, we have got 2.
Right.
So I mean, but the thing is, we don't own anything up there.
So we need permission to put them out there.
Yeah, that's the issue, you see. So that's why I've kind of been chasing Lindsay, but she's kind of said that Derbyshire were going to put them in themselves, and whether there is any, or they could give us any, she doesn't really know, so I've asked her to have a look.
Right, okay.
She
Chris,
said she could.
sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't
No,
realise.
she was just going to say, if not, they could revert to a mini project using the regen budget if we wanted to. But we do already have to.
Right, so we've got an action there, haven't we? We need to get in touch with Lindsay and find out exactly what the Derbyshire County Council are planning to do. But Chris, could come to you, please?
Okay, I want to. I hope I'm not confusing matters here, but as a cyclist, the most annoying thing is the ones that you slot into. Nowadays, bicycle tyres are so many widths. You've got your road tyre, you've got your mountain bike tyre. I have a hybrid which is halfway in between, and you've seen these ones which are gigantic, and so a lot of the ones you slot your wheel into don't help. The one at Bridge Bakehouse at Whaley, if you put it in there, it takes you 10 minutes to get it out again. But I was just wondering,
I understand which one you mean, like a toast rack.
Yeah. There may be a lot more applicable, and they're easier to change your bike to the ones, but they only have to be maybe one or two in place. You can just have one because you can have one on each side, But yeah, I understand the toe track effect, the U-bend, and I think that you don't get the trip hazard with those as well.
Right. Okay. Smashing. Good point. Right. Thank you, Nigel.
Yeah. I just think that no one is going to admit to ownership of the marketplace, and so I think if we're waiting for someone to turn up and say, as owners, we give permission, we'll be waiting forever.
Yes,
I think if we were to just put them up, then who is possibly going to object?
A bit of guerrilla bike racking. Okay, Stella.
When we were discussing last time, we discussed about the portable ones, and I said I'm willing to have them and put them out every Saturday, Sunday, which is the main days when they're needed, in the morning and bring them in the evening. So if they're suitable, I'm quite happy putting them out somewhere and bringing them in, keeping them in the pub for the time being. If we can get hold of some and get some sorted for the summer until we can come up with a proper solution of where they can go permanent.
Do you mean the ones we've got, Stella?
Have you got the ones that can go in and out? I know Clyde never heard of them, but Chris mentioned them last time or the time before.
The ones we've got is when you come into the town hall, the one that's under the annex. They're the same as that. So they're not little, they're not light either. No.
Right. Okay. Listen, we can keep debating this month after month after month. I think we get to this point now where we need to make a decision to either, this will be the last month that we debate this. The action is to touch base with Derbyshire County Council, find out what their plans are. If we do that quite quickly, once we understand what they're doing, we can then, if you could just send us a photograph out of our bike rack that we have in case Lindsay Wetton doesn't come forward with anything. And then at the next meeting, I'd like us to make a decision finally about where they're going. And I'd like that to be the end of the conversation. I'd like it, we've discussed it for 3 or 4 months. We need to make a decision and get it off the minutes. I
agree.
Action, really. So can we work hard on this in this next month, please, councillors? Emma, you'll lead that, will you, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, Em. Back to you, mate.
Dovell's waiting list. There's 2 people on that.
Oh, we've got another one. Sorry, Chris, I missed you. Sorry.
I just googled those toast rack bike racks and a double one. It's more like a hoop. It's more like a giant croquet hoop, but it looks like it'll do the job. And the first one that came up was £46 for a pair.
Right.
I'm not saying, but that looks cheap. Well, that was just a quick Google, but I'm sure you may be you go mad. You pay £150, you'll get something very robust.
Right. Okay. So
maybe that's the way, we're probably sort of spending more time on it than it might end up costing, because those.
That's my sentiment, Chris. Yeah, I'm sorry to keep interrupting. That is my sentiment. We've discussed this now for 2, 3, 4 months. This is the last month I want us to discuss it. Em's going to touch base with Derbyshire County Council, find out what their plans are, so that we're not, tripping over each other. Nigel says, quite rightly, nobody's going to give permission or take permission away from the marketplace. The police have told me that in terms of parking, blah blah blah. So, let's make a decision. Be proactive. The next, Stuart, anything?
No.
Okay. Well, I think we've said enough now. So we'll move on to the back to the Duvall's allotments list. Emma, interesting that this one's gone up by 1.
Yeah, people tend to do that. I'm going to be going up in the next couple of weeks because people have had them now for maybe 6, 7 months. So I want to go and see how much improvement they're actually making, if indeed any.
Right. Okay.
And then if nobody's making any improvements, I'll get a letter. So
Okay.
there'll probably be at least one will move, I would think.
Okay. Nationally, Emma, allotment applications are up by 40%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I'd like to see that trend continue in our area. So there are still a couple there that if our waiting list grew, that we could reclaim, isn't there, Emma?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's one that I suspect possibly hasn't had a lot done to it, so I'm going to go in and check, and that'll be one person off the waiting list again.
And
but the other ones, like I said, I've done a couple in kind of November, December, so they've not had long. So you're going to have to give them a bit of time, really. So
no, I understand that, but what I mean is right on the front row, at the top row, should I say, right at the very end, is an allotment that's never been turned over for years.
Oh no, a woman's got that. She's taken it on.
Has she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fabulous. Chris?
Very keen.
Muted, Chris.
I never put my hand down from before. That's my fault.
Sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, I was just going to back Emma up on that one because I know Phil had been up and cleared that, helped clear that end one and whatever. And somebody's taking that end one on, which is great because it hasn't been used for a long, long while. I wondered, in all honesty, whether it might be a project for the future, because these are all people in Dove Holes that want them in Dove Holes. It's not as though they're coming from further afield within the parish. I wondered if there was any scope to actually enlarge that allotment site in Dove Holes, whether we could look at that for something down the future, and expand it, whether we can actually go further out, whether any of the landowners there would work with us from Dove to actually make some more up there if we actually have a couple waiting, a couple on the end or whatever. It's just a project.
Yeah, to be fair, as Dove Holes continues to grow, Stuart, I think that's a really valid point. At this moment in time, do we need to get bogged down in looking at it? No, but it's certainly I'd put it on a to-do list. If we got a few minutes, we could definitely explore it. But yeah, well,
I was going to say as well, because of the new houses that are being built in Dove and the 106 whether or not we could actually go through the borough, whether or not they could actually, whether they've got any land that they could say that we could use, even if we had another allotment site within Dove Holes at the other side of the road.
Yeah, let's try and get ahead of the game, Stella.
I'm just want to say that we've got the lays still going through. I don't think we should look at getting any more, even though it is in Dove, until we get sorted out what we're doing with that one, because there's been a big fight over the last few years over that with the parish, and I just think we need to get that sorted. And I agree with Stuart, yes, they might be needed in Dove, but I think we need to decide what we're doing with lays first.
Yeah, it's a very valid point, Stella, a very valid point. However, I quite like both of your points because I am a huge fan of allotments, so I do go with both of those. Anyway, we'll move on for Emma now. Flower beds, please, Emma.
Where were we? Oh yeah, so as you know, the plaques get into the obviously the centenary flower bed. Phil is sort of cladding, if you want to call it, the yellow flower beds.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, the woman, there was a lady who bequeathed money to the park. So I was thinking, because that plaque looks really nice, would you want a plaque to match in one of these flower beds that Phil is, recladding with the nice stone? Maybe, like in memory of, because obviously we needed to put something in anyway, because you donated a lot of money to us. So I'm just wondering if one of those flower beds with a similar plaque would look quite nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma. Right, okay, so the question is, would we support Emma's idea that we have a plaque in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one word answers. Stella?
Yeah.
Stuart?
Mine was yes, because I was going to say I spoke to Phil.
Fabulous. Chris?
I was going to say is should we ask Phil, but I've just had that answer, so yes, that's fine.
Nigel, you okay with that?
Fine with me, yep.
Thank you, Emma. That's a great idea. Let's move on. Fabulous. Right, okay, number 4 is the park manager report. Phil, over to you, please.
Okay, I'll just give you tell you a few things that we've been up to, what we've been doing. Right, down at the wreck, we planted 50 kilos of daffodils around the edge and on the banking. I've also, last year when we were talking about it, I've also grown some buddleia from cuttings, which are now ready for going in there. We've also planted 1,000 bulbs in the wildlife area underneath the trees in the Memorial Park, which gives a bit of colour.
1,000 bulbs, Phil.
Yeah, it sounds a lot, but it's not.
Oh, no.
Once you've dug a few holes out and put them in, it's
They don't go far.
yeah, they don't go far. But what I put in there, I've actually put crocosmia, which most people know of Mount Brescia, the red one, which should I know it's not a wildflower, but it will give us quite a lot of nice clumps of red flowers, sort of, August time.
Do the bees and the insects like it, Phil?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's quite good actually, because they're actually quite cheap as well, so it's quite good one to put in.
Oh, nice one.
And as well as that, they are they're actually corms, not bulbs, so they will come every year, and hopefully they'll multiply, which will give us, hopefully it'll create quite a nice carpet of tall flowers under there.
Oh, fabulous.
We've also planted some white anemones under the trees at the top end of the park. They're not quite come up yet. We've planted 1,000 in there. So hopefully that will sort of make a nice white carpet underneath there. What else have we done? The stones from the COVID snake, now they've now all been varnished and they're ready for going. I've got to pick them up from Ellie's house probably next week. So we'll start, hopefully we'll get a design and we'll start on that soon. We've had some bird boxes donated by Dr. Brodie, which we've put up in the park. There was 4, which is quite nice of him. So they've gone up. I've also had a delivery of stone for cladding the flower beds. So I'm hoping it next probably 6 weeks or so, depending on staff. I'll be able to start doing them. We've also planted, if anyone's been in the park, we've also planted another hedge where the COVID snake's going to go. Now what we've done is we've planted a quick thorn hedge. Now I've gone for quick thorn instead of blackthorn or hawthorn because it's basically a quick thorn. It grows quicker, a lot quicker. The reason behind that is so obviously we can get hedge quicker than having to wait years and years and years. So I think there's about 120 plants gone in there. They're just starting to bud up now, actually, just starting to green up. Now, I've had counter drains back. So they've also surveyed now the drains, the bits that they didn't do last time, which is a bit in the dip next to the other side of the arch.
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite interesting. And I've also sent them another map. So hopefully, when we get all the information back, because they only come on the 22nd, it's the only day they could fit us in. Hopefully, the map will be a lot clearer as well, and there'll be a bit more information on it. But we'll have to wait until they've added that bit of the survey. onto the other bit and what have you.
Yeah. Did they take on board Chris's concerns about the quality of the material that they'd given us?
Yeah, the quality, the actual software that they use is the standard for the industry. She said there's not a great deal they can actually do about that. All the stopping and starting on it is, it's more to do with when the camera's stopping and starting. So she said there's not a great deal they can actually do about. I did ask whether they could put it in a different format, and they just said no, they just can't, because that's that's what the whole industry uses.
Okay.
So she didn't actually say a lot about that, to be fair. There's a lot of judging, there is a lot of stopping and starting on it, but a lot of it is down to, when they are stopping and starting the camera, because what they do is, you see, they push the camera up as far as they can possibly go without it getting stuck, and then it records as they're pulling it back out. So she says that's what a lot of the stopping and starting is, because sometimes they'll get it, wedged, on a bit that's broke or something. So there's not a lot they can actually do about the quality of the footage. But hopefully, like I said, they've done the other drainage bit, which wasn't done before, and hopefully the map will be a lot clearer than the last one, because it was quite crammed on there, wasn't it? What else have we got? So I've had a delivery of stone already. So I've probably got enough to do one on the flower beds anyway. And that's about it so far, really. We've had an email off Karen concerning the wreck, about they're having to chase the kids all over the wreck. Now, we had a discussion months ago about it, about maybe planting some more things on the hedging, but I think the hedging hasn't actually been pruned back for a long time, probably about 10 years. So I think the first thing to do down there is to prune all the hawthorn right back, because she said the kids are sort of getting away before they can catch up with them, if you know what I mean. But just one thing to take into consideration there is that the actual path that runs back of the hawthorn hedging isn't ours, it's DPC's. So it's just something to take in consideration when we actually.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that then, Phil. D who?
The actual path itself isn't ours, it's owned by DCC.
DCC, right, okay.
Yeah, it's not actually Parish Council's land. That our land stops at that hedge. So it's just something to consider, to take in consideration when we sort of come up with ideas about the kids causing havoc and what have you.
Okay.
So far, that's about it. I've got a few little projects on the go. Where we cleaned up all the railings, the other side of the bowling green. Now, the RSPB, they sell mixed hedging solely for birds. Now, my plan is to actually buy some hedging off them, because obviously they're a charity and the more money they can get, the better. Mm-hmm. And plant a low mixed hedge, literally just between the bowling green and the railings, which I thought would be quite nice, because it's obviously it's good for us because we're forming a nice natural barrier, for the birds, and the hedging is actually, it'll come from the RSPB, which is a good thing as well, I think. So it's just a little idea that I've had, just to create, to sort of help the wildlife out, really.
Fabulous. Oh yeah, I'm all for wildlife. You mentioned wildlife, Phil. I'm on board. Right, okay. Is that your report then, Phil?
Yes, well, that's it for now.
Smashing, that was fabulous. Thank you. I've got some councillors I've got questions, so we'll have Chris first, please.
Okay, to go back to the video, it's not. What happened is there's a written narrative with the video, and it sort of says, so many meters. So you might say, 53 meters or whatever, route coming vertically through.
Right.
But what's happened is 20 seconds before that, it's just frozen. The video has. So they've obviously videoed the other stuff, but whatever they've put onto that portal has got corrupted. So it needs it needs reloading or whatever. But so they've obviously videoed stuff, and somebody's typed up a narrative as it goes along. Pipe narrows and all sorts of things. But your pitch is just frozen for maybe 30 seconds before. So that doesn't. I think we would just need to make it clear to them that there is a problem. They need to look at those videos themselves.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Noted. Stella.
No, Stuart was before me.
Sorry, the screen keeps switching round on me, Stuart.
I'm going to say carry on, Stella, if you want. You're all right.
No, I'm just going to say what Phil's just said about, I only put my hand up when he was saying that about that hedge. Are we going to make a decision about that in between the bowling green and the fence today, and then we can get that sorted? Because I think it's a really good idea.
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't actually need a decision. I mean, it just come out of the park budget anyway. So, you don't need to have a vote on a hedge.
All right. Okay.
Fabulous. Yeah, thank you, Stella. No, Stuart.
No, I was just going to say thanks to Phil, actually. I think we should know thanks to him for actually doing some of these beds, because it has been on Facebook and whatever. We have got the daffs growing now. There is some colour, and that was the whole point of doing those beds and everything, to get some colour in the park, because people appreciate, especially in this climate we've got at the moment, seeing some colour as well as just the green grass. And I think he's done a fabulous job, and I want to thank him for it. And I want it to be made known that we've thanked him for it. Absolutely. On that one.
Absolutely, sure. I think you'd have the thanks to the entire council. It's clear to see that the park is changing and for the better.
Right, so moving on from that one, and I haven't had a chance to speak to Phil yet as such, because he's only come up at a meeting this week. But to do with his COVID snake and where he's put his hedge down there and everything, I believe because of what's happened, because of so many deaths and everything to do with COVID, the Borough Council has got some money to purchase trees, native trees or whatever. And people have to get in touch with the Borough Council, because some people want to have like oak trees or whatever as such to actually be put. And believe it or not, the report that came out the other night, the Memorial Park at Chapel was one of the places that the borough would like to see some of these trees be planted. Now, I just wanted to bring that up here now, and then obviously I'll continue with that and sort out with Emma and with Phil about how we can deal with that, because I think it's something that we could actually do as an amenity, and it's in respect of what's happened to the deaths through COVID.
Thank you, sir. I think before I just go to Nigel, would I be wrong in thinking that High Peak Borough Council may indeed like to put some trees in the park, but I think the correct way would be to communicate with the parish council first and see.
It was just a report that came out, and they were saying they have got these trees, and they would like Whaley Bridge Park, Chapel Park, New Mills Park, the one at Glossop, the one at Hayfield, the parishes could have them, and they would do them. They would, give them to them.
Yeah. I'm not against receiving free trees from anyone, Stuart, but, I think High Peak Borough Council need to talk to Phil and
that's
the
what I mean.
council before they move forward. Sorry, Nigel.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Stuart whether this was limited to the council, or whether members of the public could get in touch with High Peak Borough Council and ask for a tree for their back garden.
Good question. I don't know. I'd have to read the minutes from the other night again, Nigel. I can't recall. I've had about 4 meetings this week so far, so I'm not sure off the top of my head.
If you got them on email, could you just forward them to me?
I'll find it, yes. I'll write myself a note.
So, okay, thank you. So that's all the questions it looks like. I've got a couple, Phil, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
One is, how good is the new mower?
I've not actually done much mowing with it yet, because it's still a bit wet. But yeah, I've done a little bit. I tested it out the other day. Yeah, it's good.
That's okay, good. Two is the railings.
Yeah, you mean the smashed ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually had an email actually today. It's just a case of I've just got to check through all the order, make sure it's correct before they bring them.
So that looks like it's likely to be sold sooner rather than later.
Yes, yeah, like I say, as soon as they turn up, we'll get cracking on it.
Okay, and the third one is thanks for putting a hard stand in at the side of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was in two minds what to do there, to be quite honest.
Well, you know what? I sent an email in to Sue and Emma this morning. We've attempted to do something, and it's not kind of quite worked out how I imagined it would look myself. Is this scope to improve how it looks, Phil?
Yeah, the problem we have in park is keeping the kids off stuff.
Yeah.
You know, any bit of concrete we do, you can guarantee there'll be footprints in it the next day.
Or even a name written in it.
Or a name written in it, yeah. I was actually wondering whether would it be worth you getting 3 quotes in and actually having a section, that section there where the railings are, whether to get 3 quotes to have it to actually go from the gate, that stretch to the end, with tarmac, and basically widen the path to the railings.
Well, it kind of does, yeah. But
or do you think it's too much tarmac? If you know what I mean? Personally,
I think it's too much. I don't really see too much tarmac in there. This is my own opinion. I like what you did, and I like the idea, and the idea is great. I'm just thinking aesthetically, could we do something to improve it? Before I keep talking, I've got Chris and Stella available, and there's a little of it this week. Stella, you can go first.
No, just saying, when we discussed it, weren't we going to put flags there?
Yeah, I don't really. I think we kind of gave we asked Phil to assist us in our standing, but I don't think we ever said to Phil a spec.
All right, no, I just think, I mean, it's a great idea, and I think I will use it with my grandson's buggy.
No, absolutely, no. I think what it's another example of Phil's willingness to improve the park, and I like it. I'm just wondering if we could slightly improve it from an aesthetics point of view. It's just not quite planned that I imagined it. But I'll leave that.
Well, getting concrete paint or something and just drawing crayons on it, or little children, or you know, I don't know.
I'm not opposed to Phil having another bash at it, me personally. Yeah. I mean, I think I'd want Phil to have another look at it. Chris?
Very much on the same vein. I just wondered if we did cap it with stone, would it be a trip hazard, or would it be okay, or maybe having it as raised? Or...
No, you don't want it raised.
No, we don't want it raised at all. No, but I'm just thinking. It's a conundrum for you, that, Phil. I mean, as it stands, short term, we've listened to what people were asking us. The buggies were sinking in the mud. It was really muddy, weren't it, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's definitely an improvement. Definitely.
It's an improvement, but in keeping with the Memorial Park and the visions that we all have with it, it's probably not right where we thought, and that's not a criticism, Phil. It's not quite panned out how I imagined it, really. But I'll leave that with you to come up with something creative. Okay. Have a think about it, Phil. See, you know, I mean, yeah. People have mentioned Indian stone. We might have to take the concrete out and start again. I don't know, but let's let's get it right. And not that it's not right now, but I think it could be better. Anybody else with anything there? No. But I appreciate your efforts, Phil. And looking.
Yeah, well done, Phil. You're doing so much in that part. I'm
really looking forward to seeing the flowers come out as well.
Yeah.
Okay, chaps and chapesses, let's go to number 5, which is your grit bin request for consideration. Emma?
Yes. So, I sent you a list with the ones that have been requested, and it had the little policy underneath. So, based on the policy, which we really just need to decide which ones you're going to approve, I suppose.
Nigel?
Yeah, can I make a plea for Brookside Road? So there's a copper on there who came to me a couple of years ago during the winter, asking for my help to try and get DCC to put in a grip bin. He'd been stuck in his drive, hadn't been able to get out, and that he didn't have the choice of public transport because of the hours that he was working. So I'd make a plea for that. It's on a gradient. I mean, there are a fair few people who live up there, and it'd get well used.
Don't know where. I'm not sure where Brookside is.
Okay. So there's one nomination. Stuart?
Yeah, if I may, Chairman, on this, because obviously reading through this and knowing the hoops we've got to go through, even so, to sort it out because of of our policies and the DCC policies, I'd marked 3 off personally that I was going to put forward in the respect of the Lesser Lane one at Coombs that we'd spoken about, which is on DCC Highways land, which is out in the countryside, which is awkward for people, which is no different than the one that we said for up at Sparrow Pit as such on that one. The other one, obviously, was what Nigel just said about the Brookside Road one, which is a DCC highway land again area as such. And then the one which obviously hasn't got anything written at it, the corner of Horsefair Avenue and Spencer Road, which obviously is, I think, DCC highway land again, because that is the same as putting the one that's lower down on Horsefair Avenue with Crossings Avenue lower down. So it's only the same as that one that's on their grass down there. And because I was going to say those 3, I was going to suggest we went for those 3 first, because it would mean writing to DCC Highways anyway, because they're providing the bins. It's on their land and everything. It would be 3 that could be sorted out with DCC as a bunch, 3 together. And that's just my suggestion, if that's of any help to you, Jason.
It is actually, thank you, Stuart. Christopher, and then Nigel.
Right, basically Coombs. I was there. I go there a couple of days ago, and I was a few days. I did notice a parish bin that's not on our list, and I did email. I emailed Emma about it. But the avenue at Coombs, which as you approach Coombs, it's that little cul-de-sac on your right hand side, which tends to be bungalows as an elderly population. Now, Lesser Lane is, it's just where it's just. I thought if you did have one at Coombs, maybe that would be the one. Lesser Lane is very, very long. It's a bit more difficult, Lesser Lane, because it's not so many houses there, and they tend to be sort of a mixture of people. It was just the avenue just struck me as maybe, or even moving the one that's already at Coombs, which is not on the list, the one which is actually an adopted gritting route, which is just down Coombs Lane from the Hanging Gate to there, maybe. Anyway.
So am I right in thinking that the parish council have one near the Hanging Gate? Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah. Yes, if you go down from the Hanging Gate, if you're going to Coombs, far down, there's an entrance to the golf course,
right.
It's a entrance.
Yeah, there is.
And it is actually just there.
And that's the parish council bin.
It says parish council on it.
We have never known anything about that.
It's not on our list.
Not on our list. We've never filled that. Ever.
Okay.
It's got sand in it, but nothing. It doesn't look like it's being filled very often.
Okay.
Maybe the golf club do deal with that one.
I guess an action here then is to maybe contact the golf club and see if they have if they own the grip bin. But you think it's a parish council one, Chris?
It says parish council on it. It's actually moulded into it.
Interesting.
It doesn't.
It says Chapel Parish Council or just Parish Council?
It says Parish Council, but we're the only Parish Council there, so.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't mean it's necessarily come from ours, but I think we'll perhaps, Emma, can we drop a mail into the golf club and just to see if they own it, or
Yeah, because I suspect they've obviously just got it from somewhere. Because
Yeah.
I'll email them.
that's what I'm thinking. But Nigel,
Yeah, I was just going to agree with Stuart's suggestion that we go for initially Lesser Lane, Brookside, and the corner of Horse Fair and Spencer Road.
given what Chris has just said about Lesser Lane,
I mean, I would just like to get the ball rolling, really, because otherwise we're going to just delay it month after month.
no, it's not. No,
I don't want to stop any grit bins going out, but we are going to have a look at the total, given that they've got to cost at least £200 a year, and I think given the amount of money we've put aside, which is also litter bins, we've got. I mean, I'd like to revisit the small budget we've done and increase it personally, so that we can be more. But it's just where on Lesser Lane, it's about 2 miles long.
Can I just come in on that, Jason? Because it was somebody from Lesser Lane who was a nurse or something that wrote into Emma and said where they wanted it, because it was as the road started to go uphill, which was a problem, wasn't it, Emma? Can you enlighten us anymore? Can you remember?
Not without finding the email, but yeah,
No,
outside the house, it was, I think, where it started to
It
sort of go up.
A nurse. Washer was a nurse, but I do remember it was not a nurse at Lesser Lane.
right,
Yeah, there's two district nurses who live on the farm on Lesser Lane.
right, okay. So this is how I see it. Okay, right. So I agree that we need to get the ball rolling. I agree that in principle with some of Stuart's suggestions. We did put a budget in. We put a total in the budget £2,000, if I remember rightly, which is and a 200 litre grit bin will cost you approximately £200 as a one-off purchase, approximately, give or take, depending which manufacturer you go with. A ton of salt will cost you approximately £80 to £100, and you will get 5 200 litre bins out of that ton of salt. So if you was to say 50% of the budget was £1,000, and we've got £1,000 to spend on grit bins in an instance, I think if today you wanted to choose 4 locations for grit bins, that would satisfy. If you don't want to make that decision today, I understand what you're saying. The snow's hardly likely to get us, but that's the kind of ballpark, rough figure how I'm working. Nigel, let's do it.
Yeah, I think the deal with the county council is if they agree the position, they will supply the grit bin for free with the first fill, and then we would take it over from then. So we're essentially going to pay nothing until this time next year.
Okay, right, fabulous. Chris and Stuart. Sorry, Chris. Stuart, sorry, rude. You.
I was just going to make a proposal then on that one for you, Jason, to move things on, because Chris had said about the cul-de-sac that's in Coombs as you come into Coombs that goes downhill on the right-hand side. If we made the proposal of the one for Lesser Lane and find out where the district nurse is, the email that came in, so we knew exactly where that was. The one for the cul-de-sac in Coombs that he said. The 2 that we've said is Brookside Road and the Spencer Road. That gives you 4 bins that are all DCC highway type ones. And with what Nigel said, that is a way forward to get those 4 done and get them done by DCC, get them situated, get them filled, and then we're ready. And then we can look then at the other things further down the line. Because I think the one that's for the Thornbrook Road car park, I think we should be going back to High Peak Borough Council on that one, because they've just had it tarmacked, relayed and remarked out, and it should be down to them to make some decision on that. It shouldn't be for us to particularly pay for that, but we need to speak to them on that.
Thank you, sir. I've noted that proposal. We'll just come back to it. Chris has got his hand up.
Further to what was just said about hopefully we'll get them 3 in 1 fill off for DCC. I think we were told that if they fill them for us, it's £200 a fill. But this also comes back to our fill because it's to what extent we can fill them ourselves. And I mean, obviously, if we did them in the autumn when it was decent weather, it'd be a lot easier than, obviously we don't. And if I just wanted to ask through the chair if they would be able to do maybe the good weather fills, but then maybe we use someone like DCC or one of the building merchants who will fill them for you at times during the actual adverse weather itself, because we don't want to,
I understand. I do understand what you're saying there, Chris. Yeah, and it's important that we don't burden Phil. We don't just go make a decision and go, right, Phil, deal with it. No, we've got to get it right. I agree with that. Emma, am I right in thinking that in adverse weather, Chinley used Rogers, Chapel-en-le-Frith, should I say?
This year, I believe they have, yeah. But then apparently, I think if I'm right, Chapel-en-le-Frith then said they can't fill them January through March, which is kind of when they need filling. So I'm not actually sure who Georgina's got to do it now. But I'm sure she must have found somebody. So there's got to be somebody about.
Okay, so what I'm saying, okay, so in an interest in moving things forward, we've got a proposal from Stuart that we're going to go to Derbyshire County Council and ask for their support on 4 locations. Is that right, Stuart?
Yep, that's right.
Right, so that's Stuart's motion.
Can I just check with Chris? Is it called the Avenue in Coombs? Is this the one that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's called the Avenue. It's not. It's just towards Chapel from the pub. It's the one that sort of just as you get to Coombs, it goes down. It slopes down right. So it's sloped, and there's mainly bungalows there. So it's all old people. It's where the old people of Coombs live theoretically.
Right,
yeah, so near the Beehive, yeah.
Right.
It's in between the bridge and the Beehive on the right-hand side, and it is called that. And yeah, there is some grass verge there as well that I think the DCC cut.
Right, okay, so that's the motion. All in favour of Stuart's motion? Yeah, okay, so that's unanimous. So can we write to the DCC with those suggestions, please, Emma?
Yeah. So it's the 4.
The next meeting, hopefully, we'll have got a favourable response, and if Nigel says they're going to give them us free first time round, perhaps we can then consider trying to get some more from them.
So 4 locations: Brookside, the Avenue, Lesser Lane, and Horse Fair, isn't it?
It's the Spencer Horse Fair one, yeah.
And then later on in the year, once we have got a number of grit bins that we've added potentially to Phil's routes, we'll have to come together as a council and work out how we actually fill these and not burden Phil with it. Okay, number 6, Councillor Young.
Sorry, can I just ask what? So these are the people who've requested them. Shall I just rewrite? Because I wrote to them obviously last month saying that decisions were going to be made this month. So shall I write back to them and say, obviously most of them, a lot of them are unadopted roads anyway.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't really consider them. And obviously the High Peak one is High Peak land. We did then also have Brooklands Avenue, but there is already 2 grit bins on there.
And are they ours, Emma?
Well, we do fill them, to be fair. And then we had a couple of people, about 2 or 3 people asked for Homestead Way. But again, there is actually 2 grit bins within less than sort of 50 to 100 metres away from Homestead Way. There's 2, which are not ours, but they do get filled.
It would be nice to see a map of the parish of Chapel with an accurate location of grit bins. That would help actually moving forward for any further applications. So that what we don't want is to have 30 grit bins and 6 or 7 of them being in a location of 300 or 400 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I could mark ours on, but then obviously you've got the problem is you don't have High Peak ones, and then you have Derbyshire ones, and they're not all on one map. Do you know what I mean?
But perhaps a project would be to get the 3 in maps that we could overlay. Is that possible, Chris?
Well, I think Nigel's more the map. I have done, like I did the Silent Soldier map and that.
Okay.
There is a portal on DCC, and it shows when I say portal, it's terrible, but theoretically, it's where you report, ask for a grit bin fill, and it has all the DCC ones, it has all the HPBC IP ones, and it has parish council ones when they are advised of them.
Okay.
I will send you, Emma, if I send a link, is it possible to ask them to add ours? Because basically, if it's a parish council, basically everything will then get a number. As I understand it, even a lot of the parish council ones still have a DCC number allocated to them, so someone can quote that. And if they go on the portal, they say, please refill this bin, a message comes up saying, please contact the parish council for that one.
Okay. Thank you.
But the Do It Now portal it's drunk. They're showing all the grit bins in totally the wrong place.
Okay. Okay. So that's something that I'll speak to him with after this. Right. Okay. Stella's taking her hand down. Stuart, can you make it quick because I don't want to drag us through.
All I was going to say was to move this along. I think that's a project for the future, sorting all that out, because this is a starting point. We've only just decided we're going to do grit bins and put some money in. Let's start with what we've got now and move on and expand on it.
Perfectly reasonable. Thank you very much, Mr. Young. Right. Okay. That one's done then. Emma, so you're okay with just contacting the DCC then?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Magic. Thank you very much. Number 6 is a motion from Councillor Young. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, obviously, the motion speaks for itself, and we've now purchased the good second-hand mower, and Phil's happy with that and everything. But obviously, we've still got to consider that the tractor is coming of a certain age, and the trailer is unfit for use, and that. We still have the advantages that we haven't claimed on any grants yet, whether it's the old-fashioned grants from wherever, from the Mines and Quarries grants or whatever. And I've just put this motion together that I'd like us to move forward and try and get some money out of the quarrying industry, because we do have 5 parks, which are here and there and up Sparrow and over in Dove and that. And obviously 3 of them and the allotments that we've just been talking about come under the Dove Holes area, and we're looking to do things better for Dove as well, and that's in their catchment area as such. And I'd just like us to go forward and see if we can do a grant, whether it's off whoever, to get some money to do something. I am willing to alter the motion in the respect of whether we want a cab with it or not, depending on the weather, depending on Phil and what he thinks is best and all the rest of it, and where we've got to house it and what have you. But either which way, the money for that doesn't make, as you will see with the prices, it doesn't make a lot of difference in the grand scheme of it, whether it has got a cab or not. The other thing I thought about was, if we didn't have a cab, we could probably have the quick release pins on the bucket at the front, so that we could possibly in the future buy a plough instead of a bucket, so that you'd actually be able to put a plough on the front of it as well for doing the footpaths within the park or down to the town hall, or if we were struggling anywhere depending on the weather. So it's just a motion to actually start down the road of looking at something more up to date and usable, because the tractor we've got is at the perfect age to trade in and move forward.
Thank you, Stuart. Nigel, Chris.
Chris is first.
Chris.
Okay. The only thing, yes, in principle, yes. The only thing I'm conscious of is that to these funds, to these grant funds and that, we'll probably only be able to go every so often. Now, the problem is there's some other major projects regarding the Mugger and the skate park and stuff like that. And it's just my own, only thing I'm conscious of is that after the next amenities meeting, hopefully we'll have a better idea of what will be what, so, because you know, if we're talking about £10,000 for this or whatever it is, and maybe £30,000 for something, a Mugger skateboard park, you know, I think we should go for the Mugger skateboard first. It's just the timing. I think we should leave off until we've had this one item meeting, because we can only go to the trough so often, I would have thought. And it's basically, I assume it's basically about, you know, doing it to the different people every 2 years. But I'm guessing.
Right, okay. Thanks, Chris. Noted. Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, Stuart convinced me about the mower, but I think this particular one is a non-urgent one, and we need to think about the priorities. And this year, I think the priorities are solving the play equipment issue.
Okay, thank you. Right, Stella.
I just think that yes, the tractor would probably last another 12 months. I know it's a good age to thingy, but we've got to get the mugger and that sorted. But I also agree that Phil does need the equipment to be able to do his job efficiently and everything. So it's a hard one, isn't it? You've got, you know, which one do you choose?
It really is, yeah. I mean, I do agree. Again, I find myself right in the middle. I do acknowledge what Stuart is saying is correct, but I do actually acknowledge that the other two have a valid point. Perhaps we sort of agree that this is the correct way, but we postpone for a couple of months, Stuart.
Yeah.
And just to see where the land lies in terms of expenditure.
Well, can I just say then on that one, if we're not going to trade the tractor in as such, can we at least please look at the trailer because it is unsafe and unroadworthy?
That's a different matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Nigel, Chris, any objections to that? I mean, we do need roadworthy
Equipment,
yeah. Chris, Nigel?
I've no objection.
Nigel?
No.
How often does it go on the road?
Phil?
I'd say in the summer, every other day. Yeah. The trailer that we've actually got isn't a road trailer. It's a park trailer. It's a little small park trailer. The wheels on it are the grass wheels. I mean, they're not even wheels that should be on road. To be fair, they're not road wheels. You know, they are. It is purely to be in the park.
Phil, can I just ask you a question, Phil?
Yeah.
Is this something that you need?
Yeah, I think we've needed a decent trailer for years. To be honest.
Okay. So, Nigel?
Yeah. Should we just find out some costs?
Yeah. I think we should. I think, yeah. So, Stuart. So, in terms of that particular motion, we've agreed that we're going to change it slightly and ask Phil to go away and get costs for a road legal trailer, and maybe come back to your motion a bit later in the year when we know where we are in terms of finances. How does that sit with you, Stuart?
It's all right. I was just looking because on the prices for the tractor, we hadn't got the prices for the trailer. We had looked at the prices for the trailer, hadn't we, Phil? Was it not on there?
Yeah, it's all on that, Stuart. Yeah.
I'm just looking for it.
Hold on,
I'm sure we've got.
It's separated into. Hold on.
I did get a couple of quotes.
There we go. I've just found it, ladies and gentlemen. The 1.25 ton trailer was a special offer. We could have got it for £2,100.
Okay.
So I say we'd already got the price for the trailer to go with the Ctte tractor as such. So there was two types of tractor. Obviously, that's what I was just looking for my paperwork. There was one without the cab. There was one with the cab. But then there was the 1.25 ton trailer to obviously it's suitable for either of those tractors. But with ours being a Ctte tractor, it's still suitable for our tractor. So you'd be looking at £2,100 for the trailer to be road legal.
Okay, thank you. Chris, Stella.
Stella was definitely before me.
Just a quick one, and it's probably a controversial question. Why has it not been dealt with before in the past, Stuart? And also, when was it discussed before? No, if you've been on the amenities, everything seems to be coming now. And I agree, he needs it. He should have had it years ago. And I just can't understand why it's never been discussed before. I weren't on the council. You were on the council.
I can honestly tell you, Stella, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Bill,
I mean, it's the first time I've heard it being discussed, and you're coming up with these quotes, which I agree with. He needs it. I'm not disputing that, but you and Phil have discussed it. It should have been maybe brought up a bit more in the amenities as well. Anyway, that's
Phil,
it.
do you want to answer that, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly know why it's not been replaced. I mean, obviously, I've only been, main park keeper for what, a year and a half. So obviously, I don't know what's gone off in the past. But I do think, what I'll do is I'll get a lot of quotes of different types of trailers, and we'll just go from there.
I do agree, Phil. You need it. I'm not saying anything about that. I just can't understand why nothing's been done in the years gone by.
So Chris, then Nigel.
Two things. The first one is I haven't got those quotes in front of me, but I got it was a package would get the trailer at that price if the thing, but I might be wrong. But I do agree with Stella. I think I'm spoke Jason especially. These things need to be discussed with Jason mainly, and maybe me to a lesser extent with me being vice. But it is if you know what I mean.
I understand. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Nigel, saw your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Phil whether this 1.25 ton trailer is the one that he wants. Well,
I got the quote for that lot because it's the same firm that we bought the mower off, and I just mentioned it to the rep when he brought the mower. Thinking it through, I think I need to sort of think, well, I think we're better off getting something that if we need to, we can get a mower onto it if we have to. So I think we should be looking more of a sort of a low, like something like a tipping plant trailer, something like that. But what I'll do is I'll get all the information together. I'll get lots of different quotes for lots of different trailers, and I'll get it all emailed out to you.
Yeah,
and then I think we'll just go from there then.
Thank you, Phil. One of the things, if you see something that you like and you actually you think that that's right for the role, then I'd like you to be fairly insistent that we consider that. But let's not just buy something on price or because we think it's right. We need to be led by the people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
see, something that you have to consider is it has to go. Obviously, it's got to fit a tractor. But another thing to consider is that I think it also needs to fit onto another vehicle. What I mean, a car or whatever.
Right.
So there's a few things that we've got to consider really when we're looking at them.
Okay. So I think we've got an action there. So at this moment in time, and I'd say the motion of Stuart, we'll revisit that.
I'm quite happy with that, as long as we've got an action that we will revisit it.
Yeah.
And also we can look at this trailer so that he's got the stuff for the job and he's legal and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable with that. So that's the amended motion. So we'll revisit this at a later time, but we ask Bill to go away and find us some trailer details, yeah? And is everybody in favour with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks, Phil. So that's another one for you. Okay, number 7, extend the contracts of temporary park staff until the end of April 2021. This is a no-brainer for me. Over to the shop, over to the floor. Are we? Yes. Everybody up?
Yeah.
Can I just ask? We have increased the precept, and yeah, I mean the answer is yes, but we do need to see what amount of the precept. We need to start portioning the precept increase into pockets, so that we know how it is and what we've got, rather than, if you know what I mean. Because like me, I want like the grit bin budget, for instance, and litter bins. You know, we need to.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I take that on board. Stuart, then Nigel.
The reason this is on here, Chairman, is as you will remember, we've been doing them month by month, the temporary park staff, to keep everything going, get all the jobs done, to give Phil the help and what he needs and everything. And obviously at the last full council meeting, we decided to find out if Dennis was coming back. We were going to go through proper channels, which you have to do because he's been off for 12 months. Hopefully by a week on Tuesday, when we have another full council meeting, we should have an answer to bring to you on that officially, because I know that's what we have to do by rules and regulations. And once we do that, we will be looking into this. So I think this is the right way forward at this moment in time. And then in May, when we've got a full council and full amount of council, and we'll know where we're at with Dennis, we can deal with it.
Okay. So has anybody got any objections, Nigel?
So this is until the end of April. Why don't we do it just a little bit longer, so that we're then into the new council?
Okay.
Because otherwise we're going to have to agree this again.
Yeah, I understand.
In our April meeting.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Have you any objections to that, Stuart?
No. Oh, no. It's just that we've been doing it month by month. So you're saying you'd like to do it on this one on a 2-monthly, take it April into May, and then we've got, because if we were interviewing to replace anybody, it'd take a month to put the stuff together, get it out, interview people or whatever, wouldn't it? So no, I have no problem with that.
Is there a reason why we couldn't go 3?
I will just let you know, I haven't obviously opened it, but Dennis did come in with a letter the other day for Sue, but she's not been in since.
Right, okay. We find ourselves in a bit of a position where this council is going to go into a situation with Nigel for county and new council's coming. Do we go for an extra month as well on top of what Nigel's just said, to allow them to bed in and then we can revisit it?
Yeah, because sorry.
Bella.
I know when I first came on, the first couple of months, you just don't know what's going on proper or anything. And it takes you a while to get into the mode of making decisions and everything. So, yeah, I think if you do it till the end of June, we'll have had a couple of council meetings with the new councillors. Then we'll know about Dennis, if he's got to give so much notice or anything. And then they may have started interviews by then as well.
Sure.
And I was just going to say on that, if Dennis has been in with and there's an envelope there for Sue, I don't want to preempt it or anything like that, but for argument's sake, it could be another 3 months sick notice or something like that, which we've got to deal with under normal. So I would quite happily, if you want to do it for 3 months, you know what I mean, to cover all this, it's just to cover all, it makes it safe, it gives us chance to do everything correct and what have you. So April. So you're saying till the end of June? Then are you saying at that?
Yeah. So that's my proposal. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Everyone in favour?
Yeah.
Can I have a quick word about the hours? Are we leaving the staff hours as they are now, or are we increasing them?
Well, that's a curveball, Phil. We were just giving them to you till the end of June. Is there an issue with hours?
Well, at the moment, you see, they're on winter hours. After the bank holiday, we go on summer hours. I mean, it's up to you. We can keep them on the hours that they're doing now. You know, one does 16 and the other does 13.
16 and 13?
Yeah, that's the hours that they're doing, yeah.
And the summer hours would be?
Well, normally we cover the whole week. So Dennis's contract used to be 3 days a week in the summer, with 24 hours a week in the summer and 16 hours a week in the winter.
Right, so that's 40.
Yeah, at the moment we've had, last summer we had Tim on the 24 hours, and then we had Dave on the, well, it was actually a day and a half.
Because we have a seasonal worker, so you need the 24 for Dennis's and then the seasonal worker that we would normally have. wouldn't you?
Yeah, so I mean, it's up to you whether we keep the hours the same or do you want to increase them?
Nigel?
Yeah, can we add a part 2 item onto the council's the full council meeting, because we don't have enough information at the moment to make a decision, do we? I mean, we need costs.
Okay, right. So we're going to delay what we've just agreed.
No.
I'm happy with extending it until the end of June. It's
Right.
just increasing the hours. We need to have a look at how much it costs before we can make that decision.
I understand that. Yeah. Okay, I understand that. So that's okay. Stella.
Didn't we say we were going to try and get an apprentice or something from one of the colleges
Well, we
to
did.
come in and help?
We did, and I'm going to speak to Emma and Phil as a side issue to this. But yeah,
Right.
no. So we as a council we've agreed that we're going to extend the contracts of the temporary parkies until the end of June, and at the full council meeting we'll move into part 2 and we'll discuss the hours that we'll ask those to do. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to check with you, Chairman, on that one, because I can make sure we put that on Monday, because obviously Sue will have had a chance to open the letter and we'll know where we're going a bit more then. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you. Is that noted then, Emma? Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm just writing these.
Can I just have another quick word? So what we're saying at the moment is that we're going to keep them on the same hours that they're doing now.
Well, we'll keep them on the same hours for the month of up until the end of April, perhaps.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Because
although having said that, no, Phil, take that back. We will come back to them after the council meeting.
The council meeting's on the 6th of April and say that we'll inform you on the 7th as to the hours. By the minute the contract's
right, so it's all right, it's just so I know what to tell them, that's all. Because they're going to be asking would it be in the end of the month, you see, because their contracts run out at the end of this month.
Right, okay. So they can hang fire until, is it Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
It's a week on Tuesday.
A week on Tuesday, yeah. Can you tell them that we'll come back to it with a definitive answer a week on Tuesday? Yeah.
It's a bank holiday, so it won't be in anyway.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
If you have any issues, tell them to drop us a mail.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to ask now.
Okay, right. Okay. Are you sure? Can we move on then, Stel?
Yeah. I can remember. I'll come back. Right.
Yeah, then please notice board update, Mrs. Wall.
Right. I've got one quote for a notice board. Did I send that to you, Sue? Emma? I'm still waiting for High Peaks notice board. I'm still waiting for High Peak signs notice board. I've also, after speaking to Phil, had a look at the gates and that need sand, because we discussed it, didn't we? Sandblasting and that, and I've got 2 quotes. One quote for them and another one coming in, but they're not situ. They're taking them away. That's the only thing. I haven't managed to find someone that can do them on site. But for the 5 gates, a quick thing, you'd have to come and see it, but it's at the other side of Nottingham. At the gates, I think it's 450, one of the quotes I've had given me for that sandblasting and repainting for the 5 gates, and 2 hours of welding to mend the posts to fit up, because they've all been welded on where the gates fit on the post. So to redo all that is going to be a price.
So really, you're making great progress then, Stella.
Well, yeah, it's just waiting for people to get back to you, which is the long time.
Of course.
And I've got to get 3.
Smashing. Thank you very much. Well,
but I'm working on it still.
Okay. So we've got a hand up from Chris.
It's only a quickie. I'll cycle through the halls and we've got a lovely, it looks pretty new notice board there with nothing in it. It doesn't look like it's ever had anything in it. I just wondered if it could be have its inauguration.
Stella,
that was the one. Is that the one Hillary's son made? But that's a wooden one, and Phil said he'd prefer, because of the treatment you need for the wooden ones and the post rot, the prices I'm looking at are like the metally ones. that don't rot and they don't need any painting or any looking after.
I understand that, Stella, but they've
We've
had
got
it.
one.
Yeah, we've had it. Let's try and populate it, with, with something that. So if I could ask you to throw that into your project as well and see what you could come up with that as well, Stella.
What, with the wooden one?
Yeah. We've actually got the notice board. We may as well fill it. There's no point paying for something and having it empty.
Well, who do it? Emma, will you let me know who we'll get in touch with about moving it if we wanted to move it from Dove?
No. We can leave it, but let's populate it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you mean, Chris, isn't it?
Yes. It's
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So we'll
Got nothing in it as yet.
Yeah, we'll take that offline, Stella, and I'll talk to you after that. Right? Okay, number 9.
Yeah. I know what you mean now. I thought you meant move it into the park, but no.
Number 9, correspondence.
Yeah. Hold on. Right, so you've had your letters, haven't you? I've sent you them all out. So I didn't send you all the pictures that this lady sent in regarding issues at Needham's at the rec, because some of the pictures you don't need if you've had your dinner. But so she was very, very upset because not only are the dogs not under control, but obviously there is no fencing around the play equipment in Needham's because it's quite a small area anyway. But obviously that means that the dogs are obviously fouling literally anywhere and everywhere under the play equipment, and we all know how dangerous it is to kids. So I asked her if she could just take a couple of photos and email us in and we can have a discussion about it.
Okay. Who wants to start? Nigel.
Yeah. Can we make sure that the photos and her details go to the enforcement officer at High Peak Borough Council? I think his name's Wayne Farrell.
Yeah, she did forward another email on to him, but I can send it to show that we've had it as well.
Anybody else on this?
No, I don't.
Chris, Stuart?
From my point of view, is there any suggestion we should just fence the children's play area itself? It does look nice open.
Yeah, it does.
But I mean, these are people taking the dogs a walk, aren't they? Not because we don't tend to get feral dogs around here. It's difficult. We've got these signs. Signs are available if necessary. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud.
Stuart?
It's a very difficult one to deal with, this one, in the respect of the Needham's Rec is meant to be an open area, and I wouldn't particularly want to start having to fence everything in there because you're causing more problems than you get. You're clearing up as such. I think there's more to the point. Is like we've been saying with the signs and with having rubbish bins like we were speaking about earlier, so that some people have got places to put it and what have you at the gate as they leave the rec and that. Because it's a nice open space, it is well used. It's a shame that we need to try and educate the dog owners in a way that it's not acceptable in this day and age in the children's area and what have you. And I must admit, even if older ones were playing football on there, because it is a big enough to be a football pitch, you wouldn't want to be doing a football tackle and all the rest of it and end up sliding into a load of it, would you, as a sportsman? So I think some of it is to do with, like you say, better signage possibly, telling the dog enforcement, and even if the dog enforcement person comes down in his orange jacket and all the rest of it and they see that somebody's watching, perhaps it might just engage them to think a little bit better. I don't know how we are, for bins, because there is two-way, there is the gate and then they come in and out at the other end as well. So I don't know whether we can, whether the park keeper, because Phil's here with us, whether we can do anything to make things a little bit better for people to utilise it. I don't know, Phil, is there anything you can think of?
Not off the top of my head, no, because like I say, it's just an open space, isn't it?
Yeah. Stella, you got your hand up.
There is bins there because I've been litter picking there with Kath up and down that road a couple of times. And also, I mean, how many, it's one person, it's only one complaint, so I'm not being funny, but how many dogs is there? Because whenever I go down there, I walk past there a lot. I don't see many dogs running around loose. I think we need to look into it, but I think we've got to take it that, you know, it's an open area and anyone can use it, and clean the signs up and make sure there's no dogs allowed near the play area. But other than that, they've got a lot that, you know, it's like in the memorial, we've had people complain the dogs aren't on leads. There's nothing you can really do about that other than change the signs.
Well, to be honest with you, I think from what I've just taken from everybody, should we consider looking at the signage in there? Can if we put a more significant sign up there, would that perhaps help with a phone number to report persistent offenders, education? You know, it goes a long way, doesn't it, Nigel?
Yeah, instead of keep your dog on lead or whatever we've got now, we've got a picture somewhere of the sign, haven't we?
Yeah, no dogs allowed.
No dog fouling. There's some of the ones which you can get, which are please clean up after your dog, because you can't prevent a dog squatting down and doing its business, but you can pick up.
You can, yeah. I think
if you look at the signs on that, it says no dogs, no skateboarding, no bikes, no drugs, obviously, no smoking. Do you know what I mean? You just think, well, it's an old sign that we need to have dogs under control put on and things like that.
That's a really good point.
Shall I redo that sign?
Yes.
All right.
Can
you design one for Memorial Park as well?
Stuart, are you happy with that? Because it was your idea that I've picked up on.
Yeah, I think we do need. I'm just looking at the picture of the sign, and like you say, with some of the stuff that's on it, you know what I mean, and disablement and different bits. I think we need to probably update it, like you say, come into the 21st century. And like Stella said, we've been told we've got to do some for the Memorial Park, and probably, I know I'm going to say it while we're doing it here, if we can design something decent or whatever, yeah, I like it that it's got our logo on, because like you say, with phone numbers, or even if we've got the dog warden number or something where we can report it to, we might be able to do some of these that could go on the play equipment and that at the whole site as well.
Can I just point out to you that these are not old signs?
The sign that is actually on the gate in Needham's is actually the signs that we use for enclosed play areas. And the reason why it was put on the gate is because obviously the equipment isn't enclosed. There's no fence around it. So that's why we put it on the gate.
These signs are basically what High Peak Borough Council use as well.
Yeah, but if it's not only that's only for play area, then that needs changing anyway, because it's an open area.
I'm not saying nothing changed. I'm just making you aware of.
Yeah,
that's what you put on the areas.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, which I can understand if it's an enclosed area, because I mean, I went out with my grandson and he went to pick some up and there's a piece of dog poo. You know what I mean? So you don't want them doing that in the play area.
Let me take a shot at it and let's see what it looks like and whether we think it's an improvement or not.
Yeah. And just one final thing on this is whilst I have been keen to stress about putting notice boards in Chapel Park, we do have 5 parks, and I would expect that whatever we were able to put in one park, we would consider to put in another park.
That's what I was getting at with you, Jason. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, if this sign is for closed areas, then it's on the rock. You know, it's been put on wrong, hasn't it? Because it's not an enclosed play area, so people will take that as legit, won't they? Oh, it says that no dogs allowed.
So that's the only sign at Needham's.
Yeah, so we need a new sign that says different things.
Lots of different things, yeah. Okay, so we'll leave that with you, Stella, anyway. And
no, Nigel, leaving that one with Nigel.
Sorry, yeah, but the signpost as well for you know. Okay, right. So next one, please, Em.
The next one is a request from the British Legion. They've changed it slightly. They want to know if they can hold something in the Memorial Park. Apparently now on the 4th of July to celebrate their 100th anniversary. Well, not the Chapel branch, but the British Legion's 100th birthday on the 24th of July, which...
Yeah.
Okay, Nigel.
Yeah, it's a public park. They can use it any time that they want.
They can.
Yeah.
I think it's just to let you know they're going to do something, really.
Yeah.
But
Anybody got any objections they want to raise to Chris?
They're a very responsible organisation, fantastic organisation.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have any objections.
I wouldn't.
The only thing I'd say is as long as they keep in communication with Phil and Emma, just in case the weather's poor in one. I don't know what they're planning on holding, so. But yeah, objections, none from me. Just open lines of communication.
Yeah.
Next one, Emma.
the next one is a request for a lamppost on footpath 189 in Chapel.
Nigel.
Yeah, can we ask? I think this is Phil Howe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we ask him to go back and find out whether all his neighbours also agree about the need for a lamppost and where he wants it? Because, for example, I don't know whether Brock will want it or not, and also whether his neighbours are prepared to put some money towards it.
Thank you, Nigel. Chris.
The main thing to me about this is the electricity supply, and to me, the only way to get electricity supply there is for one of the neighbours to provide it, even if they get paid a fee for it. But with me, as it's got a house there, to the suitable position where it can provide electricity supply, because otherwise, I don't know how much DCC would charge to run electricity supply underneath the road. And I'm just saying.
Okay, so in short, really, we need to write back as a council to Phil, acknowledging his letter and asking him for further information before we can make a decision. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think we need to know how many people want this, because I wouldn't want a lamppost right outside my house. You've got to see where.
Let's gather some more information. We won't make any decisions because we don't want to assume. Stuart.
I was just going to say, you do need more, on this one, information, because one, it's an unadopted road again. We've just talked about grit bins and everything. Yes, the council, the DCC have put 2 lights on there. They do look after them after effect and what have you, but they deem that is sufficient. There are rules and regulations of how far lampposts should be apart and where they should be. And years ago, we did have a budget to do it, but also I think putting lampposts up and what have you was taken out of certain people's remit. So I don't know whether it's even our place to do it without checking up properly on that one.
Okay,
as things have moved on.
Point made, Stuart, and it's something that we need to investigate. Have you got your hand up because you want to ask something, Nigel, because it's in the sun?
Yeah. So although very few parish councils provide lighting, we are a lighting authority, so we've got the power to do it. Okay.
So I think before we make any decisions against or for, we need to go right back to Phil, ask him to provide us a bit more information so that we can come to the right decision. Stuart?
Yeah, just one other to say on that, to sort of agree with Nigel, what he said there. If we do have the thing, like we are with the grit bins, what's going to happen? We'll have a plethora of people coming in wanting lights put in here, there and everywhere. You're opening the floodgates if you're not careful again. So please do at least find out where we do stand with this one
absolutely.
Officially.
Yeah, thank you. Nigel, can you throw a letter together? So a reply together for Phil and share it with Emma with the kind of things that we need.
I'll do it over the weekend, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Right, okay. Is that okay, Emma, if Nigel does that?
Did you say there's 2 on there already anyway? So
Yeah.
we need to see where them 2 are anyway, don't we? I'll have to walk down one evening and just see whereabouts they are.
Okay.
One's right on the corner on the telegraph pole.
Oh,
When
okay.
it's working.
We're dragging on again.
Right.
Number
Jason,
10. Sorry, Emma.
Jason, this last letter came in. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss it or not.
Which
Which was
one?
about this other bench, or whether you want to.
The last letter, the bench.
Oh yeah, that one that from the other day.
From,
It's from the policeman on
oh,
Jubilee.
no, yeah, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, I didn't know if
Yeah.
you wanted to just run through that one quick.
Yeah, we will discuss that actually quickly. Chris.
I did send a quick email. I'm under the impression we've already agreed to sort of bring them forward to, to be in it's all in the schedule, or I don't know, but that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
maybe Phil can put some light on this because we have so many ideas between us, and sometimes your head spins.
Yeah, Stuart.
Can I just say, can this be sort of put on not a back burner, but a side burner at this moment in time? Because where you're coming from, we were looking at moving those benches across the top because of where things were close to houses and everything. We were looking at all sides.
Yeah.
But as we said, if we move them to the other side, it meant that we've got to put more concrete down or more flags down, because you've got to be able to walk round off the footpath to get to them. And there'd have to be a big enough space for disabled people to get to them or whatever, with wheelchairs or with buggies. Whereas at the moment, your feet are on the footpath as such. We said we would look further into this. Now, part and parcel of this one is we want to do the drainage on the football pitch. We want to level the football pitch. I have come up with an idea that I would like to bring forward at some point. This is not the time now as such, but I'll just give you a rudiment idea of it. If you move in from that footpath by about 10 or 15 foot where the tree line is, you could actually dig down and put a stone wall in and make our football pitch like terraced. So you could build into that like a couple of bunkers that the home team, the away team, the manager could sit and everything. And you would be able then to level up on the top slightly where the footpath is. That would give you places to put either picnic benches or these benches that would actually be able to sit there and watch a football match. You'd be overlooking it and all the rest of it, which does actually move them forward. But it's a grander scheme to move forward on that in the future. And I just don't think we're that far down the line yet. So it's what do we do with this one bench in the meantime is what I'm saying.
Do you, Nigel?
So can we write back to this guy and say, yes, we are concerned with his concerns. We're about to order some picnic benches, which may well move the youths to a different area of the park, but we're going to keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, we've certainly got to write back to Mr. Taylor. I agree with that completely. Chris?
I think this has been a problem for years. It's about 3 of them across the top. One we moved, the diagonal one. I think there's another 3 left.
Right.
I just think we need to put it on our schedule of work to move them forward. It's the police. The police comment on it. Karen comments on it. I ran it past Karen. She thought it was fantastic. Just move it forward. The thing is, the antisocial behaviour will stop because at the moment they can see the police coming in any gate. You move it a few feet forward, the company could come in behind them. I just wondered if Phil could comment. How difficult would it be to move those 3 benches, Phil?
Well, going back, I'll just take you back to the conversation that we actually had about them on the walk round that day. You all actually made decisions on where the benches were going. So what we've done is we've moved 2 benches and to a different location. So there's only actually 2 benches up there now anyway. I mean, we've actually used, we've moved the one from the bungalow and then the one next to it where they all used to sit on. Them 2 have gone now completely. They've been relocated. So there's 2 up there now. There's one right on the end, and then obviously there's one which is on the other side of the fence. This gentleman we're talking about. Now we do need benches. I think we're about one. After we've taken the 2 out of the play area, I think I'm only 1 short from the map that we agreed on.
Right.
So I could actually take that one and relocate that one, which will leave us just 1 on that top stretch.
Which isn't enough.
Yeah.
I don't think.
But no, I appreciate that, but you know, I think Nigel's right. We are about to put picnic benches into the park. Currently, where youths are congregating around 1 bench on the periphery at the edge of the park.
They're going to go on the picnic benches.
They're going to congregate towards where they can get more of them together. So we're effectively asking them to congregate in the middle of the park, which really, you know, it does alleviate some of the issues. Chris?
They go that and those particular benches because they're tucked away and they can see any authorities coming into the park.
Yeah.
You put picnic benches in the middle. Okay, they might use it a bit, but the drug takers and that sort will still use those benches because they're safest for the sort of activity they're doing there.
Well, okay. Look. I mean, you know, we have got an issue with antisocial behaviour in Chapel Memorial Park, and we are trying to work with our neighbours. It's clear that we're trying to work with us. However, I just think in this instance, we write back, we acknowledge that we understand he has concerns, and it is every right to expect us to listen. I'd like to give these picnic benches a chance, and then if they fail, we will come back and we revisit the situation and try to find a more amicable solution. Chris?
I would think if you go around lots of the parks in High Peak, they don't necessarily have hard standing put underneath them. A lot of them just have a couple of flags to weigh them down. People do like going onto the grass, onto a bench. Now, to a certain extent, if you look at the Filling Gardens, there's the one in the Memorial Park in Buxton, which is on Hardwick Mount, that you have to walk quite a long way across the grass. And I get a coffee from Greg's or wherever and go and sit there. It's just very nice, pleasant, but you walk across grass.
Yeah. It's noted, but I just want to give these picnic benches an opportunity, and then we can go back to it. Are we all okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm not saying no. I take on board what you're saying, Chris, and I support that.
Okay, if I do.
Do you know what I mean? Let's have it. Yeah, Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, if we get the picnic benches and it doesn't clear up, I would say let's do what Chris wants.
That's my point. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Let's give it, because we've done. If you let him know that we've got a schedule for them and the picnic and the other benches, and we are looking into things, because Dave Howe had a problem with that other park bench at the beginning, didn't he? And he accepted that we're just moving things around, and he'll wait and see. So that's all you can ask. We're working on it.
In fact, I would also say, Emma, that Mr. Taylor was a high-ranking police officer, and that I would welcome any ideas that he had that would help the parish deal with the current issues in the park too. It's not just about moving the bench. If he's got anything up his sleeve that would help make the park a better place, I'd like to hear from him in that respect as well too.
Every park in the area has problems. You cannot get rid of them all.
No, you can't. No, but other parishes can deal with their issues. If Mr. Taylor can help me out, then that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, thank you very much. So, number 10 is any other business? Chris?
Can I just ask the chair, as he had his broadband fitted, has he paid his broadband bill eventually?
Do you know what? Yeah. Yesterday it finally came on. I am back on. It's been a long time, but yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Anybody else?
No.
Okay, Emma.
Oh, can I just, sorry, Nigel, Jason. So I'm going to carry on with plan of action for me is to carry on with the notice boards and the gates and work out how we can populate the notice board at Dove Holes. And also, me and Nigel did say we discussed where we would like the wildflowers for the next one. We'll make sure we've got that.
Fabulous. And for future reference, Stella, I'm the good-looking one.
All right. I'll remember that one.
Thank you. Okay, so the date, please, and Emma.
Well, can I just check with you, Jason, while we're looking at dates? You did decide, I think it was the 13th of April. You said earlier about there's the planning meeting that night. There's the one agenda, amenities after that. You're looking for a full one later than that, are you?
Yeah, later than that, please. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
30th of April.
30th of April, everybody okay with that?
I think so, yeah. Friday, yeah. I'm away the week before, yeah.
Yeah. Okay with you, Em? Phil?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Down. Brilliant. 30th of April is then. Number 12, Emma, do we have anything in that?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. Well, if that's the case, then thank you very much all for your attendance. I'll be in touch now. I'm back up on the internet. Emma, I'll be in touch with you a bit more often. I've been a bit lax, but I've not been able to do a great deal of it. But thanks very much for your attendance, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Have a nice weekend.
Okay. See you later.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks.